welcome back to Green Eyed Starlet. If you are new here, hello and welcome. My name is Brandy and I'm working to live a life worth living through art, movement, and exploration. Happy March, guys! I know you probably know what I'm about to say, but I can't believe it is already March. But it is. And seeing that it is a new month, that means we have a new theme. If you have pretty much no idea what I'm talking about, let me fill you in real quick. Basically, in the year of 2020, this year, I have decided to break up each month into a different theme. January's theme was goals, February's theme was love, and coming to March, we have the theme of self-employment. Yay! So basically this month we're going to talk about things from having different streams of income to not getting overwhelmed by all of the stuff that comes with self-employment, as well as being able to, and the importance of supporting your friends that are self-employed and other artists and stuff like that. And today we're going to be talking about the thing that plagues us all, whether you're self-employed or not, and that is taxes. Yeah, let's not all scream at once. If any of those topics piqued your interest though, please give this video a big thumbs up and make sure that you are coming back here every Saturday for new videos. And with that being said, let's get into today's video. Taxes. The only thing other than death that is guaranteed. Where did that saying even come from? I don't know, but what I do know that taxes can really kind of, well, suck. Like, I completely understand they're 100% necessary and I understand all the but like, that doesn't make them any less stressful. And they get even more and more stressful when you're self-employed or you own your own business. Like, it's a little bit ridiculous. And now after having dealt with things like 1099s for the last like 5 or so years and doing completely self-employment taxes in 2019, I felt like I would like to share with you guys some of the oh so fun, and I use the word fun very loosely, things that I wish I knew about taxes and self-employment taxes before I was transitioning into the self-employment lifestyle. Now, just a couple disclaimers before we get into the meat of this video. Just kidding, I'm vegan. But no, really, please know that this video is strictly and only for entertainment purposes. I am not a tax consultant. I am not an accountant. I've never studied tax laws and basically only have just above a 5th grader's understanding of the whole tax thing in general. So please do not take anything that I say in this video at face value, and remember that you should always consult a tax expert when it comes to any financial questions that you have about your life. I feel like that was a pretty decent disclaimer. So taxes. Okay, so I really got hot and nerdy about this topic at last year's VidCon, and honestly, there was a panel with a woman who was absolutely incredible. She worked for Braille Skateboarding, and I feel really bad because I forgot her name and I couldn't find it anywhere online, and I feel really bad about it, but this woman was an angel from above. She was either the bookkeeper or the accountant or some kind of person for Braille Skateboarding, and she like was a CPA, or she knew taxes. She had studied tax law and that stuff. And she was just honestly an angel from above. I don't think she expected this panel to be as big as it was. I don't know if I expected this panel to be as big as it was, but it was, because we all wanted to know about taxes because no one teaches us this stuff. No one. And it's really important stuff to know, especially when you're getting into those nitty-gritty things like being self-employed and having to pay your own taxes. So yeah, no, this woman was an absolute angel, and I'm so sorry I don't remember your name, but thank you for the knowledge that you bestowed upon me and the entire room of people that were there. It was very important and very life-changing for me, honestly. One of my favorite things that she said during this panel was that she hoped from this panel and in general that we were smart enough and knowledgeable enough to pay the IRS the taxes that we owed, because, you know, taxes important and all that stuff. But that we were also smart enough to never pay a penny more than we were supposed to. Because let's be honest, taxes are confusing. You know, the IRS is like, hey, you owe us money, and we're like, how much do we owe? And they're like, you've got to figure that out, but if you get it wrong, like, you're going to jail. I'm pretty sure that was a TikTok that I just stole that from, and if it is, and if it was, I'm so sorry, but your humor is great, and I really resonated with that. That was not mine. But yeah, no, taxes can be really stressful, and it is important that you know, like, what you're doing, because you can end up paying way too much or way too little, and both of those things are not great. One's not great for you for obvious reasons, you want your money, and the other one's not great because you could go to jail. Taxes are so fun, right? That no one ever. So these are the top 3 things that I wish I knew prior to doing my first set of like self-employment taxes, and now that I know, I can learn for the future. And hopefully maybe this gives you something to actually ask a real tax expert about, because I can't give you advice about taxes, just so we're clear. Number 1, keep track of everything. And when I mean everything, I mean everything, okay? Keep all your receipts, keep track of your mileage, your tips, your tolls, everything. Let's start with receipts, because this one is one that really got me this year and I was really upset about it. So when you're self-employed, you have to write off, well, you don't have to, but you want to write off as much as you can to the expenses that went into you making the money that you made. I'm gonna explain this really badly. Again, not a tax expert, but basically when you're doing your taxes, you write stuff off so that your income matches what it should and yada yada yada. And receipts are really important because it shows the purchases that you made that go into your business, right? That makes sense, right? So that's why people are constantly telling you to keep your receipts, especially adults like my father. I'm sorry, I will listen to you now. I've learned my lesson, I have. Basically this year, there were a few things that I was like, oh yeah, I bought this for my business, so I can write that off. Well, I didn't have the receipts for those things, so 1, I didn't know the actual amount that I spent on those things. I just knew a rough estimate, and that isn't gonna buy it or cut it. I don't know, buy it, cut it, either one. And 2, I didn't have proof that this actually happened. So if I ever did get audited for any reason, I wouldn't be able to prove any of it. And that's really just annoying. So basically, keep your receipts. And if you have more than one business, I definitely suggest getting really hyper organized. Make yourself a little folder with all your receipts, maybe multiple folders for all the receipts for different companies. And if you're like me, sometimes I don't know what the receipt is for or from, so I like to try to keep notes now of like, hey, this was supplies for my yoga classes, or this was this, blah, 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 blah. So it's important to get organized. The next thing you want to keep track of in this like, hey, keep track of everything, is mileage. Now, I was actually really good about this because when you are self-employed, when you're a freelancer of any sort, well, I think, don't quote me, I'm not a tax expert, like I said, but I think this applies to things like Uber and Uber Eats and Grubhub and all of those things as well. But when you drive your car a lot for work, and it's not to like the same place every time, it's like to different places. For me, it's gig work that I do like party gig work, so that counts. Keeping track of your mileage. I did really good at this year. I kept track of my mileage really well, but I never kept a running total. I just wrote it down each and every time. So then at the end of the year, it wasn't that big of a deal, but I had to do a lot of math and a lot of calculating to make sure that I, added up all the miles that I drove, all the tolls that I used, stuff like that. I also did that for tips, so I had to calculate all of my tips for the year and stuff like that. So I definitely highly suggest not only keeping track of it, but maybe keeping a running total of all of those things. And now I know there's a bunch of apps and different softwares that you can buy or use to keep track of these things. I kind of just recommend, and this is like what my dad recommended to me, so that's I guess why I'm recommending it to you, that you just use like an Excel document of some sort, of pages, or I think it's numbers on a Mac. I have a Mac and I don't even know. But using some kind of Excel worksheet where you put in the formula of just adding all of these things up as you enter them into the document, so that gives you a running total for the end of the year, and you don't have to sit there and do all the math. The number's just right there for you. The second thing I wish I knew about taxes, especially self-employment ones, before I got into doing my taxes this year, was all the deductions that actually are available to you and your business. Now, what's nice about, I use TurboTax, this is not sponsored at all. I don't even know how much I like TurboTax, to be honest, but we'll see. We'll see. I just feel like I always run into some kind of problem, but that's probably my fault. I don't know. But if you look in like things like TurboTax, or if you look online, a lot of the times it will give you very common deductions for your career. So let's use yoga teacher for example, because I feel like that's something that a lot of people understand, the concept of a yoga teacher and what I'm doing with Yeah. So for some of the deductions and the common ones that a lot of people will look at is things like your yoga equipment, so yoga mat, yoga blocks, stuff like that. You can also include things like advertisements, so your website, business cards, your insurance, because yoga teachers need to have some form of insurance to teach, things like that. And if you ever go to new seminars or stuff to strengthen your skills and all of that, those are also things that you can write off as well. So those are just some, not all, of some of the write-offs that I was looking at when I was doing my taxes for my yoga stuff. Obviously, yoga is not my only thing that I had to do taxes on this year, so each one had different things, whether that was uniforms that I had to buy, mileage I had to track, stuff like that. And it's really always important to just know what you can deduct so that you know what to keep track of, like I said in the first step. Because if you're not going to be able to write off, what's an example? I don't know. Let's say if you can't write off food as a yoga teacher, I'm just making something up, I don't know if this actually, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, no. But if, as an example, for example's sake, if you can't write off food, then why keep all of your receipts for food if you can't even write that off? So it just kind of helps narrow it down and make you hyper-focused on the things that you do want to keep track of and the things that you do want to keep organized for the end of the year. Because I don't want you to get to the end of the year and be like, why do I have this receipt for this when it doesn't apply to my business at all? I'm like, well, I didn't tell you to keep that receipt. You decided to keep that receipt on your own. And number 3, the last thing that I wish I knew before I started my 2019 taxes is to ask for help when you need it, okay? So like nowadays, we can look a lot of stuff up on Google, and I highly recommend, if you can't figure something out, look it up on Google. Like honestly, like we have the world at our fingertips. We do. We really do. But like, if that's not cutting it for you, if you've Googled something, especially when it comes to taxes, and you just literally can't figure it out, you're like, I Googled this, but this doesn't sound right, go and seek an expert out. I am extremely very much lucky in the fact that my father owns his own business he has for years, and a lot of my family are entrepreneurs and own their own businesses and self-employed and stuff like that. So I have a lot of resources to go to and be like, hey, I need troubleshooting with this X, Y, or Z problem. So I'm very lucky in that regard. But if you don't have that, go to a CPA, go to a tax consultant, go to an accountant, whoever you need, ask for help. You know, when I was doing my taxes, everything seemed straightforward, and then I would get to the next page and I would call my father, and then it'd be like, okay, I think I got it from here. Literally like 2 seconds later sometimes it'd be like, hey JK, so how do I do this, or what does this mean, or blah 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 blah. And it's okay. I'm sure my dad was very annoyed with me at that point. I literally called my father probably between 20 and 40 times in the span of like 4 hours that day. But hey, my taxes got done, and I think I did them right. Now maybe you already filed your 2019 taxes and you're just here to see my beautiful face, and for you, I say good for you, boo-boo. Good for you. I'm happy for you. No, I honestly am. Taxes are extremely stressful, and you should never wait till the last minute, because somehow that's probably gonna bite you in the butt, just from my experience. But for those of you who haven't done their taxes for 2019, I hope that some of this kind of got the gears is spinning there. I don't want to say that it helped you, because like I can't help you because I can't give you advice on taxes because I'm not a tax expert. But honestly, I do hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you're not already. I post videos every Saturday, and this month we're talking about self-employment. So if you want to hear next week me talk about my different streams of income and how you can kind of diversify your own streams of income so that not all your eggs are in one basket, then make sure that you come back next Saturday and check it out. And just for fun, leave me a comment down below telling me if you filed your taxes this year or not. You guys got time. You got time. You got like a little over a month. Just a little. So get on that, okay? Don't wait to the last minute, because it's probably going to turn out bad for you. And I don't want that, because I love you. I am glad that I feel like this video was entertaining, to me at least. My energy is through the roof, and we're talking about taxes. So if I could keep you entertained talking about taxes, then self-5 to me. I love you guys so much. I hope you have a great day, a great week, and I will see you next Saturday right here on Green Eyed Starlet. Bye guys!